Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is Glittery Banjo Sword, inventor of the dumbest reason to end up in the hospital. And today we're going to be finishing my house, mainly my dining room and a hallway. We're going to be taking that from a 1980s ball of depression and modernizing it, freshen it up, add some really bright, nice colors, and then do a whole bunch of decorating. The only thing we won't be doing is the floors, and that's because I'm having a professional contractor come in and do those in mid-January. So until then, you'll just have to look at my grimy subfloors. Now, if you haven't seen the other videos in this series, don't worry, I want to make a playlist with all of them in it. And I've actually been considering doing one giant, huge, mega marathon episode with all those videos combined because it's Christmas and then New Year's Eve is coming up, and I don't know when I'll be able to get to a house in order to clean it before the end of the year. So you just be patient, son. But to catch you up, if you haven't seen any of this, I originally cleaned this house for a friend, and then she had a big life change. Some financial difficulty popped up, and she ended up offering me this house. So I bought it and then started working on it over the course of a couple months. It needed a lot of work, not just aesthetically, but there were a lot of functional problems. And so far, I have spent tens of thousands of dollars to get this place working and functional and livable again. And today's the day that we wrap things up. Now, in previous episodes, I have painted rooms white and then put in little splashes of teal. In one room, I stepped that up and put more than just splashes. I made it kind of the secondary color. And in this room, I am going to go full send teal on one gigantic wall. I'm going to show you how to paint an accent wall, which I don't even really consider it an accent wall. I consider it a feature wall because it's like 25 or 30 feet long. It's gigantic. And then show you how to break up that wall so that it's not just this big imposing monolith of color staring you right in your stupid face hole right when you walk in the house. But before we get into that, I'm going to put together a new kitchen table that I got. It's not huge, but it has the feel that I'm going for, which is mid-century modern. I really like those diner type tables that have the band of stainless steel that wraps around the sides. I got this specific one at Wayfair, and then I got a chair set as well, but those didn't come in for a couple days later. You'll see me putting those together in a bit. The table itself is white and stainless steel, and then the chairs are stainless steel and black with like a white trim piece that goes around the whole thing. It really matches my kitchen really well. For the time being, I'm just going to set this in the dining room just so it's out of the way, but whenever you see it next to my kitchen, it'll make sense. After putting that together, I went to Hobby Lobby and got a bunch of fake flowers. So right above my TV is where my LED lights branch off of each other, and then the extension cord comes from that down to a plug-in. That leaves a big piece of my wall that it just has this big ugly cord in it. So I covered that cord with some fake vines, and then I'm going to put together these sort of like bouquets and then put them on either side of that vine to fill out the wall. It doesn't look the world's greatest, but I wanted some sort of a feminine touch in here, and little blue flowers that match my teal trim. I don't know, it just makes it look homier. Plus, whenever I get it all done and hung up, one of my friends said that it looks like a little man who's holding out two battle axes, so that might counteract any sort of feminine touch that accidentally touched my bachelor pad. But to do that, all I did was bundle up these flowers, zip tied them with a green zip tie, and then just put a drywall screw right through the middle of the stems. Now, unfortunately, I can't just dive in and start painting because I have to, one, get things away from the walls, but two, all the baseboards need to be removed from the hallway and the dining room. The floors are going to be porcelain tile that are made to look like polished marble, and they're going to be done in a herringbone pattern. They're 12 inches by 24-inch tile. When they do that, whether I remove them or whether they remove them, the baseboards have to be gone. But that's okay because all the baseboards in here look like crap anyway, so I'm going to wait till the floors are done and then install new baseboards over the top of those. While I'm at it, I'll take out any remaining tack strips that used to be there to hold in carpet, and then I'll take that opportunity to finally sweep this floor, which I haven't done in an embarrassing amount of time. One thing I thought that was kind of funny was the previous owners had dogs, and I had cleaned this place pretty thoroughly 3 or 4 different times, but whenever I pulled those baseboards off from the walls, there was so much dog hair packed in behind there. It looked like a dog had just exploded in my house. I mean, I've had pets before. I know how hair gets everywhere. I just wasn't expecting it to be behind the baseboard. As part of the prep work before you paint, anytime you're painting a room, always make sure to wipe down the walls. If the baseboards are going to be on, definitely wipe those down. Any frames of doorways and windows, take that opportunity to clean the window itself, and then definitely wipe down the walls themselves, especially where it's at feet level or knee level or hand level, because people will often just inadvertently rub their hands along the walls, especially if they're turning a corner. They'll touch the wall for stability and just kind of whip themselves around it. Over time, that makes a buildup of dirt and grease, and that stuff has to be removed before you paint, otherwise the paint won't stick. Also, keep in mind that if you are painting an entire room, this is a really good time to replace your wall socket plate covers and your light switch plate cover. I replaced mine from plastic, which were all of them were so grimy and brittle, and I replaced those with nickel, like a brushed nickel, and I found those for pretty cheap on Amazon. But having those match throughout your entire house really steps up the class and makes your decorations look more intentional. I think most of you, if you look around your house right now, you'll see some of your plate covers are white, some of them are cream, you may even have some that are gray or black, and they're just kind of a smattering of whatever was available at the time the landlord fixed it. And those covers are so cheap and so easy to replace that you might as well just go ahead and do it while you're painting. Now, before we even get to the painting part, which will happen here in just a few minutes, I need you to understand something about every single DIY and home improvement channel on all of YouTube. The colors that you see on your screen are not the way that color looks in real life. One of the reasons is because if they're filming it on a phone, almost all phone cameras will quote unquote enhance color. They do it for a couple reasons. One, it makes the videos look more vibrant, and two, phones are liars. The other thing is that oftentimes your phone screen that you're viewing it on, or your computer monitor or your TV, will also enhance colors. So by the time I record this stuff on my phone and then it goes through your screen, the color that you're seeing is absolutely nothing like what it's like in real life. The color I chose for my big, vibrant, crazy color is called Peacock Teal. It is teal with just a tiny bit more blue than the average teal, which makes it a better person than all the other teal. Now, there's no real way for me to show you what that color looks like in real life without just inviting you to my house or taking you to a Home Depot. But one of my viewers named Hermit Londia, if that is their real name, showed me on Discord kind of an idea of taking a screenshot of what the internet says Peacock Teal looks like and then putting that screenshot right next to the actual wall. While that might not show you the exact color, it shows you how different those two colors are on the screen compared to each other. So when we get to that painting portion of the video, I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to put a little swatch of Peacock Teal down on the bottom right with the words actual color over it the entire time I'm painting that teal, because on camera it looks electric blue or painter's tape blue, and that's not at all what it looks like in real life. So shut up and suck it. The only other prep that I got to do is fill in a few old nail holes and screw holes in the walls, and then I'm going to have to prime all the exposed wood, otherwise paint will just peel right off of that. All the rest of the walls that I need to paint are going to just be stark white. Remember, I mentioned this in a bunch of videos. I want to mention it again. Your walls are not the art. Your walls are not the decoration. Your walls are the canvas. So we're just prepping a room the same way we would prep a canvas by putting background color on it, and then we're going to decorate it with our pictures and furniture, the blood of our fallen enemies, and maybe some plants. So when I get this accent wall or this feature wall done, it's going to look like way too much. It's going to look like a football field just covered in electric blue. But one, like I said, it's not the actual color, mom. And two, we have to keep in mind that we've got a gigantic shelf system that's going to be on there. We got pictures. We have a huge set of curtains to break that up. And in the end, if it looks bad, like really bad, you step back and you're like, why did I do that? You can always just set your house on fire. Or wait, no, repaint it. Don't set your house on fire, just repaint it. Now, there's one thing that you need to be aware of when painting. Typically, and this is just a general rule of thumb, and it varies depending on what type of paint you got, what brand, what thickness, what sheen, but as a general rule of thumb, dark colors typically take 2 coats. Light colors usually take at least 3. I'm not going to make you sit through all 3 coats. I'm just going to fast forward this and just really speed it up, and you're going to see 1 coat through, each of the room. But my white ended up taking 3 coats, and the teal ended up taking 2. One of the questions that I've got in past videos where I've showed me doing the kitchen and living room and all those other rooms is, why did I choose such a bright white and why did I choose such a bright blue? I'm autistic and I like really bright colors that energize me. They make me feel good. They make me feel happy. And really bright white reflects light so well that during the daytime you don't need any sort of residual lighting. My hallway looked so bad because it was painted like an off-white cream color to begin with, and it was stained with nicotine, and to me it just looked dirty. No matter how much I cleaned it, it always looked like it was just covered in filth. Every time I looked down that hallway, it looked like a foreboding dungeon entrance, and once I painted it white, and especially once I got artwork up on it, it finally feels cheerful and inviting. But the other reason that I chose those colors is because I'm an adult. I do what I want. You don't tell me, I tell you. It's my house and I own it. If I want, I'll paint it with tapioca pudding. Once I was done with the painting, first of all, thank God, I am so sick of painting. I have done so much painting over the past month and a half, it's insane. My shoulders burn, my arms are worn out. I'm a huge wuss is what I'm trying to say. But then I could get to the fun stuff, which is just cleaning up and then decorating, putting things together like chairs and end tables and nightstands and lamps. But the decorating part is fun to me because not only does it completely change a room, but it personalizes the room to your exact tastes. That's what's going to make this go from feeling like just a place where I sleep to my actual home. As of the recording of this video, I just finished the last of the decorations maybe 2 hours ago, and it's the first time I felt truly comfortable in this house since I bought it. It's also the first time that I felt pride. I want to show it to everybody I know, but I know like 4 people in the whole world and they're always busy, so Oh, by the way, I found those lamps by total accident while trying to find some home goods on Amazon, and they look green on here for some reason, but they, again, are the same color teal as the rest of the house. They matched it perfectly. If I was using those as a primary light source and not just for accents, I'd be a little disappointed because they can't handle 100-watt bulbs. They can only handle 60 watt, and they're a touch tone lamp or a touch switch lamp, and they can turn on LED bulbs in 3 levels of bright. Now, I can also turn on LED bulbs, but I have to take my shirt off first. Hi-oh! I'm just kidding. LED bulbs don't get turned on. That's silly, you silly ass. Now, I got those lamps for the small living room or the little entry type of parlor room, whatever you call it. And I realized that I actually had the matching end table that's beside the couch. I had that in my bedroom. So I bought a small bedside end table for my bedroom so I could take that one out and have those bookend the couch. I'm also changing up another couple things. I'm going to take my shoe rack bench things out of there because it's too much for that room. And then I have a plant stand coming that's like 3 feet tall, and I have a Monstera plant, like a Swiss cheese plant. I'm going to be putting that right smack dab between those 2 windows, right exactly in the middle of those windows, not off to the right, not off to the left, right directly exactly in the middle of those windows and not 1 inch to either side. What I'm saying is that in between those 2 windows will be a perfectly placed Monstera, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it, son. Once everything was cleaned up, it was time for my favorite part, which is hanging artwork and just straight up decorating. I got these super cool, they're like aluminum sheets or aluminum panels that somebody has put artwork on there with a grinder, and they've done sort of a sunburst pattern or like a really abstract flower. I got 2 sets of those. One of them is 6 feet wide by about 2 feet tall. The other one is 5 feet wide. Those were absolutely perfect to hang in the hallways because I needed something that reflected reflected light, and I needed something that as I'm going down the hallway, it makes me smile, it makes me happy. One of those came with a template, which made it super easy to hang. All I had to do was make sure it was level. The other one I thought didn't come with a template. It turns out that it did. It was just hidden, and I didn't realize that it was still in the box until after I'd already hung it up. So it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get the second one up, but fortunately I know how to use a measuring tape, and I know how to make sure the spacing is correct. I mean, that's why they call me Measuring Tape Johnny back in Oklahoma City. Yo, man, is that on Measuring Tape Johnny? I don't know. Let's hand him this artwork and see if he uses one. I bet he does. While we're watching me fumble around with that, I'd like to let you guys know about some channels that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. I've noticed that we tend to have the same taste in channels, so I always like to give a shout out to other YouTube channels. This week I wanted to shout out 4. One is Modern Makeovers. He finds trashed out furniture that looks like it just can't be saved, and not only does he save it, but he turns them into just these incredible works of modern art. It's so cool to watch him do his thing. His editing is top tier, and his skill level with furniture is absolutely amazing. I could just watch him for hours. The next is probably the weirdest thing that I've gotten into in a while, and I apologize if he sees this and thinks I'm calling him weird, because it's not. It's called Regal Gentleman, and it's a guy in the UK who's just cutting people's hair, but he has conversations with them that are super, super interesting to me. And then he also talks to guys about hair loss and ways to either save it or shave it. And for whatever reason, I can't stop watching him. To see the transformations that he makes on people is pretty amazing. The next one I don't know how to pronounce because I've never heard her say it out loud. It's spelled M-R-I-Z in all capital letters, so I don't know if it's M-Riz or Mr. Is or just Mriz. But if you are into Stardew Valley at all, you need to watch her. She has an addicting personality, super sweet. You learn things about the game, and it feels like hanging out with a friend. It's just a fun channel to watch. And the last one is one that I've called out several times, but I can't give it enough praise. It's called DIY Tiff. She is an average, everyday person who is really good at DIY stuff, but she's learning as she goes, and she calls out her mistakes. She's really funny. I learn something every time I watch one of her videos, and it's just hilarious to watch Tony putting up with her when she gets to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, that would be a perfect Christmas gift for me. For those of you who aren't YouTube savvy, the subscribe button is usually right underneath this video or on my main channel, and that doesn't cost anything at all. You just click that and it'll show you my videos on your main page. For those of you who are YouTube savvy and have been around for a while, why haven't you hit the subscribe button yet? Are you trying to provoke me? I'm not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with it. Anyway, for those of you who want more than that, I do a live or an extra video every week, usually on Wednesdays for members only. I have 3 tiers of paid memberships. The first tier gets you access to Discord. The second tier gets you an extra video or live every week. And the third tier is just for people who want to support the channel in a bigger monetary way. Normally, my videos aren't home improvement. They're not DIY type stuff. They're not decorating. They are cleaning for people who typically have mental disorders. I oftentimes do free cleanings for people with severe hoarding disorder, and sometimes some of those cleanings, if they were to hire professionals, would be $10,000 to $20,000 to do. Now that I've gotten my house caught up, I will be jumping right back into cleaning for free very, very soon. But that's typically what I do on this channel. The only reason I'm doing these types of videos right now is because I had to take off 2 months to get my life back in order and to get this house into shape where I could live in it. I post videos every week, and the problem with that is sometimes I just forget to take care of myself. So for these last 2 months, that's what I've been doing, is taking care of me. As of the recording of this video, we're sitting at 655,000 subscribers. Once we hit 1 million, we get a gold plaque, and that's all I've ever wanted out of this channel, is just the gold plaque, because I think it's cool. There's only one other thing I'm going to ask of you, and that is this holiday season, get yourself a gift. Now, I'm not even talking about monetarily. You don't have to go out and buy yourself something. But one of the reasons, at least to me, that the holiday season can get so stressful is that you worry so much about other people that you forget to take care of yourself. So what I'd like you to do, if you don't have the money, pick a day that you can just sleep in. Turn off your phone, turn off your alarms, let everybody in your life know I'm sleeping until my body just lets me wake up. Or if you're into movies or video games, pick a day to where you're watching or playing whatever you want. Everyone else be damned. Go for a walk in your favorite park. Do something that you don't normally do or don't normally have the time to do because you're busy worrying about other people. If you have the money, you can buy yourself a gift, but make it something you wouldn't normally get for yourself and make it something that you don't need. Don't be like, well, I could use some new socks. Get socks if you want them, but try to make it a true gift to yourself. Not only do you deserve it, but it's really, really important that you don't leave yourself out of the occasion of Christmas. And just know for real, I appreciate all of you. I couldn't do what I do without you watching, and it's not lost on me that I am an exceptionally lucky person. Members, I will see you this Wednesday. Everybody else, I'll see you next weekend. Later.